Hey, Mark Bichetti here. Uh, whenever I write for any product at all, I'm always going to test different leads. Right here is a VSL that I just wrote. Actually, this is it. It's a 29-page script. Um, and the entrance into this conversation, it's a probiotic supplement. The entrance into this conversation is just focusing on how, well, as the headline says, how your health and happiness depends on the aliens, the good aliens living inside of your gut. So good bacteria, probiotics. Plus 3 reasons your gut sends you constant 911 signals. So you know how that gut gut feeling, those every symptom that we have, inflammation, sleeplessness, bloating, cover it here, that these are symptoms. These are 911 gut feelings that our gut is constantly telling us in the form of these symptoms. So, I get into the conversation this way, go into antibiotics, how antibiotics destroyed the gut, essentially created antibiotic resistance. And then coming from this health investigator standpoint, and backing up all of my claims and giving it a more credible voice. So then I want to test different ways into this conversation of gut health beginning and ending, or health and happiness beginning or ending in the gut. So here's another example of a lead. Now, at the end of this script, I go into how bad bacteria and candida can actually, not can, they express their own DNA, their own genes. And while they don't alter our own DNA, they do influence which genes stay on or turn off or stay off. So in this lead, I dive deeper into that. It all begins with the bacteria expressing the most genes inside of your gut, to our genetic potentials, like heart problems, insulin resistance, body weight, being determined by the bacteria and yeasts living in the gut. And again, coming from that health investigator voice. So bacteria cause inflammation, which leads to changes in the expression of genes. We call this epigenetics, or how factors switch genes on and off, or how our body cells react to this activation. So substantiating the conversation, leading it back into the antibiotics, because I'm leading all of these leads into the name and introduction. And so testing the same messages in different ways. This one ending with, so whose genes are ultimately influencing the majority of your health and happiness, yours or theirs? Different way into the conversation, right? And this morning, I'm working on a few others. Does insulin resistance start in the gut? Another big topic. Hard to stay compliant right now with that topic, so I might actually change it. Bacteria teach the immune system how to work. Do you have the right bacteria? So are the right bacteria educating your immune system, or are they hyperactivating your immune system into autoimmune responses and creating chronic inflammation? Inflammation is known to create or trigger premature, rapid, accelerated aging, both in our appearance and the way we feel, which can also trigger fatigue and sleeplessness. So a whole other way into the conversation. This one is focusing on body weight and composition, which again is a touchy subject, but the company wants to be a little edgy. So, are you really in control of what you eat, or even how much you overeat, right? Asking 3 big questions, only one answer. The answer, your weight and the difficulty losing weight begins in the gut, should say largely, because you can't ever make it a blanket statement. That said, for generations, we've been taught that it's all about calories in, calories out. It's not totally true. Your caloric intake is drastically influenced by the alien bacteria living inside your gut. And by the way, I do go into this in the main script, so this is like opening the loop for something that I don't dive into too much, but do give it some resolution. once again, coming from that gut health investigator voice. This is great stuff from Harvard. Even when you and your friend eat the same amount, you might take up and use different amounts of calories from the same food, partly due to differences between your gut microbiomes. Totally substantiating my conversation as well as other citations that I'm using for substantiation. But it's not just your weight. So now I'm using that to piggyback the weight conversation to piggyback into overall health and happiness, which then gets into the antibiotic conversation, still writing it, and then back into the broader conversation. So piggybacking weight loss into the broader conversation and seeing how these different leads get different people to raise their hands and which ones are more successful, or if all of them can be successful with different media, different interests, traffic driven to it. So anyway, just wanted to share, give you an idea of some of my creative process and why it's so necessary to constantly test and lead with lots of creative that gives the people you work with, the clients, the partners, the opportunity to get the most out of their ad dollars, and we can get more data to optimize quickly. So thanks, y'all.